Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. So, before we begin this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. If you want suggest topics, questions, feedback, comments. If you want me to give you my take on any video, or if you want me to create a video, put it in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to do so. If you want to connect with me on social media outlets, you can connect with me on Facebook by typing in Carlos Flores Jr., on Instagram and on X and on Threads by typing in at Back on Basics. So let's talk about how to get away from having automatic thoughts and automatic reactions. So the topic for today is how to stop before you react. And it could be any different ways. And I'm telling you, it's amazing because a lot of the time, remember what I said, it's automatic. Negative, right? It comes out negative and you have to process so that way it can switch to either positive or neutral. But a lot of the times we tend to go with our emotions. And we talked about emotions yesterday. And it's not that emotions aren't good, it's that emotions also are very instinctive. When you feel angry, you can't think straight. You may say something that you'll regret later on. You may have to backtrack and apologize and be sincere with somebody whenever you made a mistake and you realize that you made that mistake because you were emotional, because you reacted with your emotions. So what you do is you stop. You think for at least 3 to 5 seconds, and then you communicate. You don't just react, because if you react, it's going to be automatic, and you're not going to have control of automaticity, because automatic means it's coming out. I've had times when I react without stopping, oh, it just comes out and I just, and then all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, I just said something that I shouldn't have said because it wasn't that bad of a situation. And so again, you have to pause, you have to stop before you react. A lot of the times what we do is the other way around. We react and then we pause. And then we're like, uh-oh, we might have gotten our foot in our mouth because we might have used our anger or our fear or our sadness or, you know, it just any emotion just drives you. I mean, that's the reason why I love psychology, because the brain and the human beings are very intricate. Intricate means just something's hard to understand, isn't it? Right? It's kind of like in a marriage. It's sometimes it's kind of like a scale, right? The best thing is like this, being balanced, right? And we talked about balance. This is where you're not using your automatic, but we tend to go like this. It tends to be going like this and like this and like this, and it's hard to come back to balance because you really have to stop or pause and then process and then communicate instead of reacting. You don't want to react because reacting means that you're automatically saying the things, the first thing that comes to your head. Sometimes the first thing that comes to your head is the worst thing that should be said out loud. You have to think about it. Remember, I even tell teenagers to think at least 3 seconds and process it for 3 seconds before they say something. Because the first thing that comes out of them, because they are super automatic. Believe me, at that age where their brain is developing, where their inhibition is not there yet, and when friends are talking to them and letting them know not the most positive things to communicate or say or do. I mean, most of the things are automatic. like that. If you would see in a classroom, one student go, then back, another student, then go back and forth like this, without skipping a beat, you can tell that they're not stopping. So that way they're not stopping to not use their emotions, but to think about what they want to say, what they really want to say. Because once you use your emotions, anything can come out of your mouth. Anything can be seen in your face. It can, right? And your shoulders and your elbows and your, right, and your back. It can be a bad experience. And so what we need to do is stop, and then process, and then communicate. So 3 steps. Most of my stuff that I talk about are 3 steps. So you pause or you stop, then you process within those 3 seconds, and then you communicate. Pause, process, communicate. That's within 3-5 seconds, right? 5 seconds would be optimal, ladies and gentlemen. And so what we want to do is we want to realize that we want to make sure that instead of breaking those bonds, we want to build them, or at least hold them up a little bit longer before we actually do some more investigating. I mean, if you just react and react and react and react and react, I bet you wouldn't have much friends. You would have acquaintances, but they wouldn't be the friends that would help you, that would pick you up, that would get you moving, that would get you going. It would be the friends that would be there when they need something, and then they would be away when you need something. Those are not friends. Those are acquaintances. And so again, you have to work on yourself and say, I'm going to pause, I'm going to process, and then I'm going to react the situation in front of me. I'm going to pause, I'm going to process, and I'm going to react what people are telling me about somebody or something. Because if you go automatic, you don't know what's going to come out. You don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what you're going to think. You don't know how your body's going to get tense. And so you have to make sure that you pause, you process, you communicate, right? And communicating is great because you do have to let it out. And my recommendation is to communicate in a very amicable way, in a very friendly way to the person that said something, or to, the situation that's there. If there's nobody to communicate, then you know what? Then you pause, and then you process, and then you communicate to yourself, you know what? Next time I will know better. Again, we're human beings. Sometimes we don't know what we say. Sometimes we don't know what we do. Sometimes we don't know because it's automatic. You don't want to be automatic, because being automatic takes away that wall of thought that comes in between. If you think, even if it's from 3 to 5 seconds, you will be able to say, yeah, how I'm gonna approach it. This is how I'm gonna communicate. But a lot of the times we don't, because we're so angry. We're so in the moment. We're so automatic. We're not balanced. Remember, we want mind, body, emotional balance. And in situations like this, emotional balance is the important one, because emotions are going to drive how you react. Emotions are going to drive how you communicate. And you don't want automaticity. You don't want it to be automatic, because it could come out wrong. Believe me, I have lost, a number of friendships because I have said something automatic without thinking. And that was me, the younger me. And sometimes even today, but I'm quick to apologize. And that's one thing. If you say something that you didn't mean to say, but it came out, and you couldn't do the pause, process, and communicate, you apologize immediately. You don't. Be a bigger person and you apologize immediately. You mend that relationship. You may not end up with that relationship because the other person has the right to accept it or reject it. But at the same time, you at least tried to mend the relationship. So again, right? Pause before you communicate, because if you don't pause at least for 5 seconds, then something may be said that you want to say. You're not going to think things through, and you're going to regret it. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose acquaintances. You're going to lose coworkers. You're going to lose family members again, right? I know that sometimes we tend to be hotheads. Sometimes we tend to be, I just say things because that's who I am. But even like that, you still have to pause and process and then communicate. And if you still feel like you want to say that, then communicate. Albeit you have to realize that consequences may come back to haunt you. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. Remember, right? Don't make things, when it goes from your mind to your body, to your emotions, to your communication, don't make things automatic. You have to process first. Believe me, if you process first, it'll alleviate a few of those conversations or a few of those apologies that you have to have afterwards. So, till next time, Back on Basics.